And we are back. Hello guys. And today I'm going to continue making my videos. I'm going to continue studying my play out of position from UTG. Just yesterday when we finished talking and when I finished recording this video analyzing, I played a longer session and immediately struck some really good money, plus 20, to be honest, plus 40. I don't know why this thing shows plus 20. I think one of the reasons is because maybe Rake and one more time Rake ate a lot of my money because I play on GG Poker and I think the Rake is really high there, but I still really like the platform. Okay, so doesn't matter where you play, what really matters is that you can study the basics and understand poker, how it works. So today I'm going to continue diving into this and let's start just right away. And the first hand that I see that I think is very cool to study is exactly this one. When I open up on 7-7 and as always I tell you, like, I imagine that the button will call me. Why do I imagine this? Because I'm just studying the flop. I'm not going to continue like studying later. I will be making some videos where I study more like what happens next. If the opponent calls, if the opponent raises you, if the opponent, you know, like calls and you come then to the turn, what you have to do there. This is about the turn play and like following play. But so far I just work with the flop. As I mentioned several times in this series of videos right here. Okay, so let's start with 7-7. Before we start, we need to identify our opening range, and our opening range is going to be 14.1% as I identified for myself. It is comfortable for me. You can play different ranges, it is up to you. Just keep it in mind and pay attention to your ranges, input it correctly in the program when you work. Oh, so as you remember, I started folding out these guys. I'm pretty happy with folding them out pre-flop. They're really not that playable for me, as I can see. They don't strike that well the flop and like constantly get into troubles. So I bring these guys 25%. Wait a second. 25. Oh yeah, 25%. Oh, wait a second. This is the previous hand. I need to cancel it. Okay, good. Now let me reopen my range structure. Okay, good. Okay, now that's good. And I bring these guys 25% and 15% of these guys because they rarely strike the board. The board rarely comes. These cards, they don't come usually to the board on the flop. The high possibility, the highest is for aces to come on the flop. Okay, good. Now let's see what we have here. Not enough. Wait a second. What's wrong? We need 25% of 35% of ace 10 offsuit. Good. We have our number. Now, good. I close it. And now let's see what the flop. What is the flop here? 5-8-2 rainbow. I think this is a fantastic flop to study. I imagine that not the MP guy called me, but this button guy. With MP we will be working later, and with the cutoff we will be working later. So let me see. One more time, please. 5-8-2. I will input here 5-8-2. You can take just random cards here, random colors, because it is fully rainbow, so it doesn't matter what cards come, what colors you take. Okay, good. So we have our range. Now let's see. I think this board is kind of not that easy to play, right? Because on the one hand you have a lot of overpairs. On the other hand, your opponent really strikes well with his 5s, 8s, with his sets and all this. I think we can imagine that the opponent might call with 2-2 in his pocket, right? 2-2 plus. And thus he will have sets with 2, 8, 5. And he will have a lot of hands around these numbers, I think. So here we have to think, like, should you bet here and be the pot controller here, but kind of still be vulnerable because you are out of position? Or you want to go into defense mode and defend here significantly? So I think we can try to study maybe this hand both ways, right? On the one hand, first we can check, like, we can take a look what we're going to bet if we decide to go through the aggressive line, especially versus nits and passive players. You know, actually, that's why I was always questioning myself, why don't I earn money? Why is it so passive, the games? Because to be honest, you have to be aggressive in poker, right? And if you see that you're playing versus passive opponents who always wait for their nuts, that's when you have to, push the pedal, let's say, and go full on. Yeah, push on the gas. Okay, now let's see. I first want to imagine, like, I want to think, what if I am going to be aggressive here and if I'm going to bet? So first, as always, I will identify my value bets. 5 5 8 8 2 2, right? And and that's it. Oh, yeah, we don't even have ace 8, right? So you see, this is a pretty weak amount of hands. So value hands we have this time. But wait a second, we can also count these as my value hands, right? Especially 9, 10, and jack, because they're kind of afraid of the higher cards that might come, right? So we want to make our opponent fold his, for example, his king 10, his ace queen, possibly, right? If we bet a lot, he might fold it. Maybe he will fold his queen 10, right? So we want to make some of these hands fold so that he doesn't strike higher card and we are not, here in confusion. Okay, good. Now let's see, if we put these into our value betting range, I feel fine with that. We can do this. And now let's see, maybe some of these guys, right? Some of them, maybe. Maybe not. We will see. Okay, let's imagine first we have these guys. Now, do we have enough bluffs? Can we gain on this board like around 40 bluffs, 40, 45 bluffs, right? Because as you remember, according to the book that I mentioned several times, the applications of No Limit Hold'em by Matthew Janda, so you have to have the ratio of one value bet to two bluffs, right? 2.5 bluffs for one very strong value bet. Our value bets are very strong here. The only thing is I don't want to bet my 8s all the time. I will decrease the value bet with 8s because I think they're like so far very strong on the board, but still I sometimes do want to bet them. Good, so let's see, can I gain enough, like around 40 bluffs? Let's count, let's see. So first, I'm going to definitely bluff my, I think, 3s and 4s, right? Because they are near straights here. Near straights, and I think they are really good to bluff. You can catch you can catch a runner straight, yeah, straight draw. I mean on the turn, so this is good. You can catch a set, so you are good. 5-4 I think is still a very good candidate, right? We need 3, we need 6, and then we can continue pushing. Okay, 6-5, maybe not. 7-6, first of all, comes to the mind, that's for sure. We can do that. Okay, what about the 7-7, 6-6? On the one hand, you might want to call them. On the other hand, you can bet them, I suppose. Okay, maybe I will put them here. Maybe I will put them here because we might catch a straight draw still on the next like street, right? At the same time, we charge the opponent's 5s. Yeah, so like I think we can mix here, sometimes like check calling and sometimes betting these hands. But I just want to see, can I get enough bluffs here on this board if I play like this? Okay, good. Now, what else? I think these guys, ace 4, ace 3, maybe ace 2, I think are kind of good bluffs, especially with the colors that we need, right? I'm actually without colors too, because look, we are near straights here with these guys here. So I think they are really good to bet here. I think they are really good to bet here. Okay, that's good so far. 25, right? So not enough, guys. We don't have enough bluffs here. I think maybe that's why, like, maybe with this 8-7 we can add up to the bluffs, right? So that if we catch 6 we can continue pushing the opponent, or we can play check call if the opponent is very aggressive. This 6-5 potentially, maybe we can do this as well, right? We can maybe call with this one. So very interesting to see this, that like, yeah, we do have some bluffs, but definitely we don't have enough bluffs. At the same time, we do know that the opponent strikes this board very well, right? So you see our value to bluff bet ratio is really not that good, to be honest, right? So looks like not a very nice situation for us. We are kind of outbalanced here. Yeah, not very balanced. Not cool overall. But let's see, what else can we do here? Okay, maybe we can bluff these nines. I think they might be good bluffs. Why? Because if we catch a 7, we can continue pushing, or we can check call with that 7. Let me see, 6, 7, and 9. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, maybe with these, especially with the right colors. I think this pawn is a really good candidate to bluff here, right? Especially with the right colors. Let me choose the right colors, so we exclude these diamonds color, right? So that we can have some runner flushes here. Okay, maybe like these. Maybe this ace 9, king 9 as well. Why not? Yeah, okay. Yeah, looks like this. That's what I'm going to bluff c bet. Now I have enough of my bluff c bets. I'm pretty happy with this. Great. Okay, so the thing is about these guys, I think you have to be very careful, because even if you catch on the turn some of these high cards like king or ace or queen or jack, now it becomes really hard for you to continue pushing, because honestly you should go into check call. You know, the main idea that I always have in my mind, that our opponent might have a set. And if you bet all 3 streets, then you can end up losing the whole stack on the river. Yeah, and which is not very cool for us. And I think that's why, like, if you strike ace, king, queen, jack, right, you can just go into check calling mode on the turn, right? You need to defend, because the opponent might always have a set in his hand. And check call with the top pair on the board versus a set, it feels more or less fine, you know? You don't feel like that frustrated when losing to that. And a smaller amount of money, right? Not the whole stack. So that's all right. And sometimes folding there, right? Of course. But if you catch 6 or 7 on the turn, you can continue pushing with them. So you can continue actually bluffing with the hand that can realize its full potential, that can become the ultimate hand, that can become a straight, right? So you will be very good with these, you know, if you catch 6 or 7 on the turn. That's why, like, be careful with these hands. Always think, and imagine that your opponent has a set in his hand. Okay, good. So far, I'm super happy with what I have here with my bets. Jacks, 10s, 9s, 8s, I put into my betting range. Yeah, not all of 8s, okay. Now, let's see, what can I check raise? Before check raising, let's see. We have here so far 20 to 40, and how many hands are ungrouped? 120 approximately, 120. Now, look, this board really favors our opponent a lot of times, right? Because we don't have that many even 2 and 5 sets, right? With 2, 2 and 5, 5. And the opponent has it much more. Plus, the opponent overall generally strikes this board very well with all his pairs, and he's around this, right? Because he might call with 4, 4, 5, 5, 4, 5, 4, 6, 4, 6, 5, 7, 6, 7, 5, 8, 7, 8, 6. Because I always imagine what I would call with if I were on the button. Yeah, so I kind of play a little bit wider here, and I call with these guys. So I will be striking this board very well if I'm on the button. Now, good. The opponent is going to have possibly an advantage on this board, and he's going to bet, for example, we still imagine 50%. There is no need for him to go over and bet more, because 50% will easily already make some of your high cards fold, you know, like king jack of diamonds, yeah, queen 10 of diamonds, maybe some of them with the hearts and clubs will always fold as well already. They're not that strong, right? They don't have enough equity to call. Okay, good. Now, let's see. If the opponent bets 50%, we're going to defend as usual according to our minimum defense frequency chart. We're going to defend. By the way, I brought it here. You can see it here. I will open for you. This one I downloaded from, as I told you, Upswing Poker, right? This one is made by Douglas Polk. So versus a 50% bet, you're going to defend 67% of your check-in range. Okay, multiply 0.67. Great. So that's the number that you are going to have. 80, approximately 80 hands that you want to defend. Okay, now let's see, what are we going to defend actually here? What are we going to check call and check raise potentially? And check fold, right? So aces, kings, queens, I put into my, for a while, I'll put into my check calling range, okay? I honestly don't even want to raise them because I might start playing versus sets. I don't like it. I really want to control the board and think and be good with that. Okay, 9-8 I think is a good check call. To be honest, even this 6-5 as the second pair might be still a good check call. I really like check calling these second pairs. Ace-5, second pair I check call for sure. Okay, what else can I check call here? Only 21, not enough. Let me check call more. 6-5, I put it into my check calling range here. Okay, good. Some of these 8s, check raise, check call. I think the board, though it is dangerous, but these 8s, I really want to have them on my turn, to be honest. Maybe I can sometimes check raise, maybe sometimes I can check call these guys. Okay, what about these heavy guys? I think these heavy guys, especially with the right color, they might want to check call here, right? Like this. I think they might want to check call here. Yeah, like this, why not? Yeah, maybe ace jack, maybe ace jack. Yeah, the rest of them, I think they start feeling already uncomfortable. Maybe sometimes I can call with king jack. I think I just imagine what would I do, right? And these guys like ace 10, maybe ace 10. If there is 9, potentially, what can I do? Not that very good. We cannot even build up straights. What can we build? We can build some flushes around there, right? But not even straights, right? So I have to be very careful with these combinations. If the opponent is going to bet all 3 streets aggressively, maybe the opponent has a set. So always think in advance. And the opponent will be betting aggressively, right? And they're going to mix their bluffs and their sets and their 2 pairs. So you have to be extremely careful and be willing to fold these hands pretty early, possibly, or on the turn or river. Okay, good. Now what else can we call here? Can we call some of these ace king? I think we can, and we possibly should, and ace queen. But one more time, you have to be very careful on the upcoming streets. So yeah, keep it in mind. 64 so far. Okay, maybe if you want to go crazy, you call these guys as well, and you have your kind of number. Though I think it is very dangerous still, so I would decrease the amount of calling over these hands like this. Okay, yeah, I know it is like the number is even less, but like what to do? Okay, good. Now, as you can see, I'm going to play a little bit in this way, right? What am I going to check raise? Wait a second, some of these 8s I'm going to check raise. I'm going to check raise so 50% of these 8s. And I need to balance this with some significant check raises with some of my hands. I think these aces, ace 3, ace 4, are kind of good check raises first because they can catch straight, and at the same time that they can catch runner flash, right? I mean a runner flash, flash draw, right? And we can continue kind of pushing after our bet. If we don't catch, you see, we still are balanced with our 8s because we still have these 8s that raised and can continue betting on the turn, right? That's how you balance. And some bluffs that you're going to raise on the flop, you are going to drop them on the turn. You're going to check fold them, right? So there is nothing wrong about this. Okay, I think some of these guys would be really good to check raise. As you see, like always these guys, they come in handy, let's say. And you can check raise with them. Maybe 5 sometimes, maybe not. Maybe 5 sometimes, maybe not. Let's see. Okay, ace 4, ace 3. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. Okay. Sleep, go away. Okay, this one I really want to have this one in my check call, to be honest. So I think, yeah, I will be playing with these guys. This one I really like to bluff on the flop with my bluff bets. This one. Yeah, I think these guys are really great candidates to bluff raise. So I think we take them, but not all of them, right? I think first we throw out my diamonds. Diamonds we just bluff bet on the flop. We don't check raise these diamonds. I think they're really, you know, not very good to check raise. We cannot continue with them much on the on the turn. So without them, I will have 3 and 3, 6 combinations, a little bit too much possibly. So I will just bet maybe 50% of these guys. I mean bluff raise. Let me do this. Yeah, like this, I think. So I think we're good. As for the diamonds, we're going to just I will add up these diamonds into my bluffing range here. Diamonds. Let me think how to do this. How to adapt this. Yeah. I don't honestly know, like, let me think. If I want to adapt diamonds here into my bluffing range. Well, you got the idea, guys. They are there. They are there in the bluffing range on the flop. They bluff bet. Okay, but ace 4 is ace 4 of hearts, of spades, and of clubs. They are going to check raise. Okay, and we have approximately 3 combinations for the check raise and 1.5 combinations for like value check raise. Great, I think. So we are really good here. We have perfect balance here with these guys. I'm pretty happy. Very good, I think. Okay, that's good. Yeah, so we're going to defend this number. If you want, you can very carefully maybe play more with these guys, right? Maybe why should you call with ace 10 when you can call with king 10? You can catch a king, you can catch a 10, you can catch a draw flush. So I think they're much better to play. Check calls here, right? Without diamonds, throw out some diamonds. Good, maybe like this. But still, like, you know, they already have very little potential here, right? And you really want to be around these guys here. That's why, like, if the opponent bets 50%, maybe you should already fold these guys. No, the huger is the bet of the opponent, the more hands you are going to fold out. The more you want to stay, you know, careful and concentrated around this board. Okay, good. I'm pretty sure that in the solvers, they might say already that you have to start folding these guys. So you have to be careful with them, really start folding them, sometimes call, sometimes fold. Try to more like call these like guys, right, that have some top pair potential, can be very strong on the board, and you can very clearly see whether the opponent has anything or not, right? Because many opponents don't have balls to bluff on the river and bluff jam on the river. Okay, good. So far it is like this. I think this board, I'm pretty happy with this board. And the opponent might bet 50%, the opponent might bet 33%. Very often it's gonna be 33% on this board. The opponent will be betting his whole range possibly with this on this board. But still, you have to be sober, you have to be careful, you have to think about this, and you have to defend, right? So I think I would be defending in this way. I'm pretty happy with this. I'm pretty happy with all my numbers here. With my bluff bets, with my C bets. Somehow the number of my bluff bets decreased because of these guys, right? So because some of these guys, possibly. Yeah, the number of my bluff bets decreased. Anyway, that's all right. That's all right, I think. And I want to take a look at this one, imagining if the opponent is really aggressive, okay? So I clear all this out. If the opponent is really aggressive, and if the opponent is going to, you know, bet all his range, so maybe I just want to go into full defense mode. If I go into full defense mode, what am I going to do? So I want to see how I would play this, because like you see, we are going to now take into account a different scenario when we are going to defend more. Okay, we decide, okay, the board is dangerous, the opponent is good, maybe I want to fully defend here, right? Now let's see, what are we going to do here? What are we going to defend with? So first of all, our entire range is going to be 180.7. Yeah, let me open up my calculator. Calculator, where are you? Just a moment, guys. Okay, let me see. Okay, let's take it out. Okay, I still imagine that the opponent bets not 33%. I really don't like to play with small bets. I'm thinking small bets. You know, I really like to work with big bets. Why? Because the bigger the bets are, the more money you earn and stuff. And with the small bets, opponents very often just are going to bluff total bullshit, and you overcall a little bit, you know, with some really bad hands. So I really like to have clear thought and clear mind. What I do here, what I don't do here. Okay, so I'm going to imagine the opponent bets 50%. And I'm going to defend now with this amount of hands. Multiply 0.67. Okay, now if we go into full defense, right, and we don't bet anything, we are going to defend, we are going to end up with this number. Now let's see what we have here in our defense. Okay, like this. Then definitely all these guys, eights, all my eights, all my fives, right, all my fives, that's right. Okay, 70. What else? I think all these nines will be figuring out what to do with them. Actually not all nines, maybe 10-9, yes, because it can catch 7 and will be a draw straight. These guys I will take only with the colors, with the right colors, without diamonds, so that I can potentially have draw straight here. Now maybe some of these guys, the same with diamonds, without diamonds I mean. Yeah, like this, possibly, like this. Jack 10, maybe, we can catch a 9 there. Queen 10, maybe, we can catch a 9 there. Yeah, so I think they are actually playable. We didn't, you know, pay much attention to them. I think they're good to bluff there as well on the previous, in the previous type scenario. Okay, in the previous scenario, to be correct. Okay, and you see, like, we don't have enough steel. Maybe we can adapt these guys, but like, be careful. Maybe you should start overfolding. It is not quite your board, right? Like, pure theory tells us, okay, you kind of have to have this number, but you know, life sometimes doesn't work as it is in theory, right? So even can drop this ace king easily. Like, why not? You know, don't stick to these like figure, right? Don't stick to this beautiful card, to this beautiful hand. You know, you didn't marry it, so just drop it. Okay, now let's see if the opponent attacks me in this way. Okay, I don't have enough. I have 115, but I'm still very happy with this. Now, what do I want to check raise here? Because I think I do potentially check raise here sometimes. The only thing is maybe I will drop a little bit more of these hands. I really don't want to risk that much with some awful hands. King 10, maybe. Yeah, so like, I mean, don't overplay these hands. I mean, up to you. Want to risk? Okay, go for it. I'm pretty sure if you sometimes call, sometimes fold, it is gonna be fine. Okay, now I want to check raise some of my eights, not all of them. 50% of my eights. So first we need to take out 50% and then add up these eights. Fives, I think we can check raise all fives, because anyway we have a very small amount of fives, very small amount of 2. So far we have 2.5. So you see the value check raise is very small, approximately 2.7, almost 3, right? So we need to have approximately 9. Wait a second. What is the ratio between? It's approximately 2 bluffs per 1 very strong value bet, right? So approximately 6 bluffs that we need to have. Now, what are we going to bluff? Maybe you want to check call 7-6 here, sometimes bluff bet. Anyway, we have only one combination here, one hand, right? So maybe I can do this. Okay, sometimes I can check raise, sometimes I can check call. I would mostly check call because this hand really wants to see the cards, and actually you can, wait a second, not this one. This one, right? This one. Yeah. You can check call, can check raise with that hand. I think everything is fine, right? Because anyway, you're going to go till river with this hand. You're going to see whether you strike your perfect card, dream card or not, and catch the straight. Okay, I think 6-5 is also very good to check raise. overall, right? Because we are really near straights here, draw straights, right? Runner straights and stuff. So I think we're really good with this one. Okay, what else? Okay, this one. Still, these aces come to my mind, right? So we do want to raise some of them. I think I would exclude diamonds. Maybe sometimes add up diamonds. Why not? Maybe we would do want to add up diamonds here so that our opponent, if our opponent has any like runner flushes, he might drop it here, right? So I think some of these guys would be good. Some of these guys would be good as well. I think I will do this. 50% of these guys. So it makes 2 combinations from here, 2 combinations from here. So plus 4 combinations approximately. All right. We needed 6 in total. Some bluffs here, some bluffs here. Okay, so I will add up some of these bluffs, I think. Ace-2. I really like to call with my second pair. Yeah, I really do. And at the same time, look, we can check raise with Ace-2 of hearts, Ace-2 of spades. I think sometimes check raise, sometimes check call. Okay, like this. First I take them out from here, add up like this. Yeah, I think that's really good. Really good. Somehow I threw away, unfortunately, my diamonds there. I mean, they are in the call, right? These diamonds. Okay, so add up. Like 100% of diamonds are gonna be called. Okay, I just cannot change it there. Yeah, so far it's going to be like this. Look, so this is the number I'm going to check raise. I have some very strong check raises like 8s, 5s and 2. I even have some 8s that are going to check call. As you can see, it is very strong on this board, right? The opponent, you want the opponent to continue bluffing here, right? If the opponent has a bluff, you can, because you need to check raise on the turn as well. Yeah, so you need to figure out what you are going to check raise. Good, I think this is really good. 6-5, I'm pretty happy. Yes. Well, so far this hand is like this. As you can see, you can choose your way. I think that's why, like, you know, we are human beings, we're not solvers. We cannot play perfectly, and the opponents are not going to play perfectly. But if you have your logic that you're going to apply, like, are you an aggressor? Is he passive? Is he aggressive, right? Does he know theory? Does the opponent understand that this board is his? Or he's like an ultimate need that is going to be passively waiting for his nuts and checking back, and you won't earn any money, even from his draw flushes and straight draws, right? You want to earn money, so you want to be aggressive, but you have to be smart, right? When you are aggressive, you want to know what to bet with. If you know that the opponent knows theory more profoundly, and that he or she realizes this their board and they are going to bet, then you want to go into the full defense mode, approximately like this. Yeah, I think this is a very interesting hand. I really like it. So far so good. So thank you very much for watching, right? I hope you enjoyed it. I definitely did. Definitely enjoyed this working session, and see you in the next video. Thank you very much.